Himalayan mountains stood an old, forgotten hotel, surrounded by dense forest, heavy rain, and endless dark. People in nearby villages often said there was something wrong with that hotel. But on one stormy night, a man arrived there. A man who seemed to be hiding from something. It was close to midnight. A black car slowly stopped outside the hotel entrance. A man stepped out. His name was Arjun Mehra. Fear was clearly visible on his face. He kept looking over his shoulder, as if someone was following him. He quickly walked inside the hotel. The receptionist looked at him and quietly asked, "Sir, is everything all right?" But Arjun avoided the question. In a nervous voice, he said, "If someone asks about me, tell them I was never here." The receptionist felt uneasy after hearing that, but he asked no more questions. He handed Arjun an old brass key. Room 307. Arjun slowly walked through the hotel's long, dark corridor. The hallway lights flickered constantly. The entire building felt strangely silent. When he finally reached the room, he stood there for a few seconds, just staring at the door. Then, with trembling hands, he unlocked it and stepped inside. The room looked old and abandoned. The paint on the walls was peeling away. Outside the window, there was nothing except darkness and rain. The first thing Arjun did was lock the door from inside. Then he moved toward the window and carefully looked outside through the curtains, as if he was waiting for someone, or terrified that someone might arrive. A few moments later, he sat beside a wooden table. He opened a diary and started writing something. But suddenly, he heard footsteps outside in the hallway. Arjun froze instantly. The room became completely silent. Then, a dark shadow slowly passed beneath the door. Arjun's breathing became heavier. Who or what was outside that room that night was never discovered. The next morning, a hotel worker arrived outside room 307 carrying tea. He knocked on the door. No response. He knocked again. Still. Silence. A few minutes later, the receptionist arrived upstairs. They tried opening the room with a master key, but the door was locked from the inside. Now fear started spreading. Finally, they decided to break the door open. The moment the door burst open, everyone froze in shock. The room was completely empty. Arjun Mehra had vanished, but the most terrifying part was all his belongings were still inside the room. His bag, his shoes, his diary. Everything was still there, but Arjun himself was gone. The window was locked. There was no possible way out. It looked as if he had simply disappeared into thin air. Police arrived at the hotel immediately. An investigation began. The CCTV footage was checked carefully. The footage clearly showed Arjun entering room 307 during the night. But after that, he was never seen leaving the room. Even the police were stunned. Then the investigation uncovered something even more disturbing. Over the past 20 years, 3 other people had disappeared in similar ways, and every single case was connected to the same room. Room 307. As investigators dug deeper, dark stories about the hotel began to surface. Locals claimed that decades earlier, a British officer had mysteriously vanished there. Some guests reported hearing strange whispers late at night. Others claimed that at exactly 3 a.m., the telephone inside room 307 would ring by itself, and whenever someone answered the call, they heard nothing except heavy breathing on the other side. Slowly, the hotel gained a terrifying reputation. People became too afraid to stay there, but the darkest discovery was still waiting. During the investigation, police found an old camera belonging to Arjun. Inside it was a partially recorded video. The footage showed Arjun running through a dark forest at night. The camera shook violently. It looked like something was chasing him. Then suddenly,